What's up, y'all? It's Dustin, aka D Neff, and today I want to talk about the most overlooked skill, and I think it is the most important skill that you will learn, especially in your journey through your career, and it's the importance of being able to sell yourself. Put a little asterisk up here. If you're not buying it, no one else will either. And for me, I got stuck in my career for two different stints, but one was for 9 years, and I had absolutely incredible results. I got selected to do a lot of one-off projects because of those results, but every time that I interviewed, I just could not land that next job and get that promotion and make more money other than your typical, 3-4% raise, until I figured out how to sell myself. And really how I got there, it's pretty wild. And I've done a couple other videos on that I'll go more in depth. But today I want to talk about the foundations of selling yourself. So I'm going to ask you a question. Who are you? Do you know who you are? And I want you to think about this, write it down, put it in the comments. Write 10 words that describe you. And I know this is awkward to do. It's also awkward to, when you're first starting out in your interview, you're trying to sell yourself. But I think this will really help. This was one of the most important things that I did that I think everybody has an idea of who they are. So I went through this course, and it had me have all of my managers. I had 9 managers at the time. Go through and describe me in one word. Write 3 of them, but one word. And then, I had an idea of who am I? I thought I knew who I was. And it's so cool. You're going to get some answers that you don't expect. But the cool thing for me was I did get the answers that I had written down. They were on my list. So authentic was one. Authentic, real, trustworthy. So really things that I base my life upon. So I thought that was really cool. And what this will do, it will give you a clearer vision of not only how you see yourself, but how other people see you. And if it's aligned, it will elevate kind of your beliefs, and it'll eliminate those limiting beliefs where you have the doubt of, hey, maybe I'm not that, or maybe, that is not my biggest strength. So put that into practice, do that, write out those 10 words, hit pause, send a text to 3 of your friends or 3 coworkers. Hey, if you could describe me in 3 words, what would they be? All right. So that's who you think you are. So you're going to gather some data real quick. Who do you want to be? So write 10 words of how you want to see yourself, your future self. And when you write these, I think it's very important. Write I am, and then that, whatever that word is. So do that 10 times. And this will be interesting to see who you want to be compared to who you are now. Are you where you want to be? And hopefully you're not, because you always want to grow and develop. And I think there's a famous saying, if you're not growing, you're dying. So, all right. This is my favorite part, because I think everybody has something to offer, something to share. Everybody you meet, you can learn something from. So my question is, what makes you interesting? And I think these are 3 things that can help. These are just fantastic icebreakers. These will help you connect with people very quickly. And this is pretty simple, but I don't know if a lot of people do it. I do it. I've shown it to people, and man, it works, whether it's in the work, interview phase, connecting with your teammates, dating. These really work. So what are 3 fun facts about you? So you always need to have, because you may get somebody like me that's going to ask you some off-the-wall questions. But if you truly know yourself and have those answers ready, what are your top 5 bands? What are your top 5 movies? or top 3? What are your 3 favorite cities? I always use 3 or 5. 3 is a little easier. People don't go as far in depth. This is a really big one here. What are your 3 favorite memories? So I think that is, man, you can learn so much about people just by asking that question. All right, so take some time, just let that marinate. Have those, use those. I mean, this is a good good weapon to have, or not necessarily a weapon, but a good tool to have. All right, what are your top 3 personal wins? Like, what are the 3 things you are proudest of in your life? So we'll get on to the rest here in a minute, but yeah, so let's take a minute. 3 fun facts. So for me, 6th grade valedictorian. I've been to Hawaii 3 times. And let's see, I love basketball. All right, 3 favorite cities. So this changes, but New Orleans, San Diego, and used to be Atlanta, Nashville I like, but now I'm gonna go Maui. All right, so New Orleans, San Diego, Maui. What are your 3 favorite memories? All right, I'm not gonna go into those because those could take a little bit longer than I want to take right now. What are your top 3 personal wins? So for me, I had, I'll keep it simple. So I wanted to play college basketball, and I was not on that level after high school, and man, really worked at it, got surrounded with some really good players, and a year later, I was playing college basketball. Signed up for a half marathon, didn't really know what it was, but it was one of those trips to Hawaii, and I wanted to win my age group, and I did. Let's see, one more personal win is, man, I want to have great people around me at all times. And I've moved around a lot with work, but that's something that I've always been able to create, and it makes my life better. And I think it adds value to a lot of different people's lives. Top 3 career wins. So for me, there was a 8+ year stretch. I promoted 16 managers to 27 positions. I had 2 different stores that I led to the #1 customer service score in the Southeast. So it's out of about 60 stores. Yeah, and I wanted to work for my dream company since I was a kid, and I got to do that for 19 years. So really, really good. But as you can see, like, I can go a million ways with those. I love using those in interviews. I think it loosens people up. You learn something new every time you ask that. Like, I used to do a daily meeting. I've done that for probably 25 years leading businesses. And if we have time, I love doing that. I get people to introduce themselves. What is their role? Then tell me then tell everybody a fun fact. Man, you learn something new about somebody each and every day, and it allows people to connect with other people, and they may have similarities they had no idea about. All right, moving on. What do you stand for? Like, what are 3 of your core values? And I always had this since the mid 2000s. So 3 things for me that I always stood for was honesty, loyalty, and respect. And I think it's very important that everybody has, your core values, because you may, get off base, or things are going to happen in your life, but you can always, like, those are your core values. That's who you are. So you need to identify, what are your core values? What do you want them to be? They may change over time. All right. And lastly, who will you be now? So after going through this, did it change anything when you wrote out your 10 words that best describe you? And then is it different from who you want to be in the future? So I think that, wanting to grow and become better and always improve, they should not be the same. So, figuring that out, what changed between this and that, and this is your new focus. That is who you are now, or that's your future self. Write it in the present tense. And that is who you want to be, you know, tomorrow, 30 days from now. What does that look like? So, yeah. So just a few things that I think that you can put in your repertoire that will help you sell yourself. It will help you learn who you are. It'll help you learn what other people think of you. You'll have some fun facts that you can use to connect with people. And you know, I didn't really go into depth here of why I think this is important, but I think anytime you can build rapport with somebody very quickly, that is a art, and it's a skill, and it's probably getting taught less and less. And there's probably the generation that's coming up probably struggles with it more because everything's more digital. So I think the more you know yourself, the more you're able to communicate, the easier it is to find out these things about people. You start building connections, building relationships. And if it's in an interview, you may only be there for an hour. Any of this that you can do, and it may just help. You never know what that one sentence or that one paragraph, that short conversation that you're going to have, where it will lead you. So yeah, and that is it. The most important overlooked skill: learning to sell yourself. And it all comes down to knowing who you are and knowing who you want to be. And I think that is one of the greatest attributes. If you can figure this out, which I know you will, put it into practice, and it will help you so much as far as gaining instant credibility, building relationships, and people seeing you for who you truly are and who you represent. So that's it for this. Talk to y'all soon.